I understand how hard it is to work out hard because I do it. I understand how hard it is to diet and eat healthy because I do it. Hey there, Coach Devin here. So today I had a conversation with a former client, and she had an interesting perspective, and I want to take a minute and touch base on some of the things that she talked about with me, and then and my response for that. I mean, I obviously talked to her too. I didn't just ignore her. It's not the way you work things, but I did want to kind of touch base on it, why I think there's a commonality of the human experience that we all have, and we can empathize and feel for each other and understand where other people are coming from. So to give you a little bit of the backstory, I have a client, still a friend. She isn't with me right now. And she made a comment to me and messaged me about a video I'd done a while ago. And I was talking about losing weight and getting more fit and, you know, one of those videos. And she said, you know what, you can't understand what it's like to be a woman who needs to lose weight. You're never gonna get it. You're not gonna understand it. You don't get where it is. You don't get how I feel because you're not an overweight woman. You're not a woman who wants to lose weight. You're a guy. You're already fit. Like you can't possibly understand where I'm coming from in my fitness journey. And it struck me first off. Honestly, it struck me. I was like, wait a second, hold on. How could I not know that? Because I've been doing this for 27 now years. I feel like, I understand, the science behind losing weight and all those other things. But I realized that she's not talking about that. She's not talking about the science behind losing weight. Yes, I know that. She's talking about the experience of being a woman who wants to lose weight, has been heavy or bigger than she wants to be her whole life, and she's concerned about it. She's like, you can't know. Number one, you're a man. Number two, you're fit, right? So the first thing that pops into my head with this is I think we are getting into a weird spot now, honestly, across everything, where people are like, you don't know what I'm going through, and you can never know. I disagree with that, and here's my reasons, and I have a couple reasons for this. Number one, I think just because I'm a man doesn't mean I can't understand a woman's perspective on things. I think if I take a step back, think about logically and try to understand where they're coming from, I think I can understand a woman's perspective. I'm not saying I know everything about a woman's perspective, but I can empathize with their perspective. Okay, so if I'm saying, for example, if a woman says, there's a glass ceiling on how much money women can make, and that's very frustrating, and men are paid more than women, and that's not right. I can empathize with that. I can say, okay, wait a second, that is true. That's fair. I'm on board with you. I don't think just because of the fact that I'm a man doesn't mean I can't understand where you're coming from or empathize or agree. So when it gets into the weight side of things, one of the things I think we do a lot of is we look at people as being finished products, right? We look at people and we say, okay, you are already what you are, and you have been what you were, and you're always been what you were. Okay, I was a skinny teenager with very few friends. I was very shy, uncomfortable, awkward, all kinds of stuff. I guess I would have had what we would call now anxiety, but I didn't know it at the time because that was not a word. And you know what? I spent a lot of time and energy on fitness because it made me feel more powerful and it made me feel more confident in myself, and I changed my body a lot. And I look very different now. That doesn't mean that person that I was is still not in there, right? So I can understand somebody who says, you know what, you're a finished product already. No, first off, I'm not. I'm not what you see right now. I was for a lot of years something totally different, right? So when somebody says you can't understand what it's like to be a woman who's overweight, well, number one, I can understand the science, definitely. But number two, I can't understand what it's like to, you need to lose weight. I've done bodybuilding shows. I have done periods where I've tried to get leaner. Losing weight is hard. Very, very hard work. Anyone who loses weight and gets in better shape should be cheered for, because it's not an easy thing to do. It's an extremely difficult thing to do. It wasn't easy for me. It's not easy for bodybuilders, fitness models, whatever. That is hard. Getting in shape is hard. Staying in shape is hard, right? being on top of your diet on a day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out basis, that's tough. It's very hard. So somebody's saying, well, you can't understand where I'm coming from. And my client's saying, oh, you can't understand what it's like to be someone who needs to lose weight. I can understand the difficulty with losing weight because I've done it. I understand how hard that is. I understand the science behind it, and it's, I get that side of it, but I understand doing it because I've done it. I've lost weight before. It's very hard. It's a lot of work, and I understand what it's like to have to stay fit because I feel an immense amount of pressure in my job to stay fit. I feel like, nobody wants a trainer that's not fit. So, and I mean, in reality, is that the most important thing? Probably not, but you know what? For me, that's a super important thing. So I try to stay on top of that. So I think there's a lot more commonality in the human experience than people give it credit for. I can't say, to say to someone, you can't possibly understand me because you're not a male who likes to exercise. That's not true. I think that's not reasonable. And I think actually to have empathy for people and to understand other people's perspectives is the strength of the human experience. We get it. I think we all understand. We all can put ourselves, it's like when you watch a movie and, the lead character has something bad happen to them, they die or they're sad or, you tear up, right? Or you feel sad. That's the commonality of the human experience. So I can understand, I think that we all can understand what it's like and put ourselves in other people's shoes, unless you're a sociopath, and then you can't. But I'm not a sociopath. I can't understand what it's like to be in somebody else's shoes. So I do understand what it's like to be, I don't know if I know necessarily exactly what it's like to be a woman, but I can understand what it's like to be someone who is frustrated with weight loss, has been heavy all their lives and wants to change their body because I was skinny, hated everything about myself, wanted to change my body, and it took time, effort, a long time, a lot of effort to get to where I am today. So I think rather than look at what makes us different as people, we really should look at what makes us the same as people. Because in reality, we all are very, very similar. The human experience is actually much more common and much more real than you would think it would be. I think we all can have empathy unless you're, like I said, unless you're a sociopath. The human experience is something that everybody can get. Everybody can understand what it's like to feel sad or feel happy or feel rejected or feel like they have, nobody likes them or everybody likes them or whatever it happens to be. So, we can understand, we all can understand things. And what makes me, I think, better at my job is that I can put myself in my client's shoes and I can say, okay, I get it. I understand how challenging it is because A, I've done it. I say all the time, I became a lot better trainer once I had done a bodybuilding show and I had to diet hard. I understood how tough it was to do and to motivate yourself to do those things. I understand how hard it is to work out hard because I do it. I understand how hard it is to diet and eat healthy because I do it. And I also understand the need to have fun in your life, which is why I always preach about having, reasonable, sustainable food, because you have to be able to have wine or pizza or whatever your thing happens to be. So I think instead of let's, and the takeaway on this is, rather than concentrating on the things that make us different, let's concentrate on the things that make us the same. I think in reality, there's many more things that make us the same as people than there are things that make us different as people. People from all over the world have a common feeling on life, and they understand what's going on because we get it. We're human. We understand there's a common bond, I think, for people in general. And I think that if we concentrate on that more rather than saying, you can't possibly understand where I am, let's say, okay, this is how I feel. If you just tell people how you feel, they'll get it. They'll get it. They'll understand. And you know what, people, I think we'll be happier as a society if we think about the positive side of things. What's been your experience with that? If you feel like people have a common feeling and there's a commonality of the human experience, if you think so, or you don't, write it up down below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Don't fight the awesome.